We got Ken Shamrock here. How you doing, Mr. Shamrock?
I'm doing well. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
So you got a bare knuckle fighting tryouts in Buffalo, New York. It's gonna be a lot of fighters there. Um, what's gonna make your promotion different from other bare knuckles promotion?
Well, we're not really focusing on trying to be different than anyone. We just kind of want to be who we are. We want to start with young guys. We want to build, the valor with some young faces, especially these first couple shows. We want to be able to go to each of these cities that we're going to and be able to find these young fighters, be able to put them on the undercard so they're able to fight in front of their home crowd. So we're looking forward to that. Right now, like I said, we're just grassroots and we're building slow because of the way that the kind of COVID kind of shut everything down for a while. Trying to start from grassroots and build it up. I know you see a lot of these other promotions out there that are bare knuckle that are really pushing and they seem to be spending a lot on their fight cards. We want to make sure that when we put on a card that we put on fighters that are young, that are energetic, that are excited to fight for valor. And then as we grow with the fan base, valor grows with the fan base and valor grows with the fighters, that when we start growing, we all grow together.
Ken, what kind of a ring are they going to be fighting in?
We have a bout circle, which is really sunk down. It's an octagon shape on the outside. It's kind of slanted up a little bit where the out of bounds is. And the center of the fighting surface is a circle. So they have to stay in that circle. There's no ropes. There's no cages. It's just man on man in there. And if you start backing up, there's nothing for you to run into. So you step out of bounds, you lose a point, you lose a point, you lose a round, and there's only 3 rounds. So it forces the action. It makes guys have to compete, makes them have to use footwork, makes them have to use a lot of hand speed. And there's no clinching also, so which makes it even more difficult because now there's nowhere to rest. There's nowhere to hide.
Do they get points for like staying in the middle?
No, I mean, that's
like is there a circle in the middle?
It's funny when people kind of keep iterating, well, how do you keep them in there to fight or what's to keep them from going on? And I just keep thinking in my head, as a fighter, I've never had to be forced to stay within the ropes or in the cage. The only time I've ever really been in a situation where I was on the cage or I was in a rope is if somebody actually pushed me into them. Mm-hmm. So I don't think the problem is with the fighter itself, punching and kicking and doing whatever they do and ending up in the cage of the ropes. It's more about your opponent when they go in there. And that's why we don't want clinching, because we don't want guys pushing each other into the out of bounds. So by forcing no clinching, now you have to punch. And when you're punching, there's no pushing, right? So it really does keep the action going. It keeps hands moving. There's, again, like saying having no ropes, no cages, there's nowhere for these guys to kind of back up into and lay on there. So kind of do a rope-a-dope or rest. So it's a fast action-packed bout circle. It forces action consistently.
So when the next show will be?
I didn't hear you.
When will be the next show? Because I know you had it like last year. So
yes,
when was it?
We have multiple shows right now that we're actually doing. We call them the content shows, where we're going out and finding guys like in Jacksonville, Florida, and in Florida area. We've been real heavily there doing these gym tryouts, finding fighters to be able to put on a card, because that's going to be somewhere where we want to be able to do our event and be able to get content to be able to show for valor. And we'll have a big show after we do a few of these content shows. Then we're going to do a big show leading up, like using all the content and all the gym tryouts to really advertise for that big fight. And I believe that's going to be in October.
How long are the rounds, Ken?
What's that?
How long are the rounds?
Rounds going to be three 3-minute rounds.
Okay. So they gotta go. They got no time to feel out or waste time.
Yeah, well, when you watch the first one we had, it was action packed, and I truly believe that this is really going to force action. It's also going to change the game of bare knuckle boxing, because it really does impact the action quite a bit. And so I really like it because and not that I'm against, dirty boxing or holding and punching. I think it's kind of fun to watch. But to me, it's not clean. It's not what my vision is to really take the purity of boxing, take the gloves off, make it bare knuckle boxing, and bring back that kind of professionalism in boxing.
Mm-hmm.
Are you familiar with the other promotions out there, Mr. Shamrock?
I am, yes. I've seen a couple of them, and like I said, I think it's exciting, it's fun, but just not my cup of tea when I've got guys holding one another and punching each other. I mean, obviously, fight's a fight, and they're fun to watch, but I just really like the idea of being able to take that boxing that I've loved for years, Sugar Ray Leonard and Duran and Muhammad Ali and, Mike Tyson, and I just loved it. But it just got to a point where it just felt like people were hugging each other all the time. And, with the gloves on, it's not really pure. Guys are being rewarded for taping their hands and putting a glove on there because, some of the guys may not have strong hands. And so you putting a glove on and be able to make them be world champions. And I've always felt like fighting should be God-given talent. And, not something where, you put a glove on a guy and all of a sudden becomes a world champion. But if you take those gloves off that same guy, he breaks his hand every round. That's not God-given talent. So I just want to bring back that purity of what we call fighters, guys that are true fighters.
I'm pretty sure this Sunday you're gonna see a few fighters in there for your tryouts.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. Well, the last couple times we've done them, it's been exciting, man.
It's gonna be this Sunday in Buffalo?
Yes.
Damn,
Yep.
Too bad it wasn't next Sunday in Buffalo and I'm back. I always miss your shows.
Yeah, I know a few guys gonna be on there on the tryouts. They tough guys, so
this is where they get the show because again, like I said, obviously we're putting gloves on them because we don't want them to bang each other up for tryouts. But it does show us a lot about who they are, and we implement the rules that we have for Valor, so they get an understanding of how they'll be fighting.
What kind of gloves are they going to use?
We're going to get, we want big ones, 12-ounce gloves, just so, again, like I said, these guys are trying out. We don't want them to be banging on each other and just for a tryout, but it does show us what kind of skills they got. Being able to do 1 3-minute round, that means they got 1 round, 3 minutes to show us what they got in order for us to put them on our card.
Oh, so we're only going to fight 1 round.
And 1 round, 3 minutes, man. Show me what you got.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Shamrock, would you ever put a show in New York State?
Yeah, right now New York, I think is a hard one to get into, especially for bare knuckle. But I truly believe that at some point in time we'll get that chance.
You might be able to do it in the Indian reservation over here.
Yeah, and that's a tricky one. Again, like I said, it's not something that we wouldn't look at, but you don't want to either piss off the commission by going beneath them and trying to put a show on when because even if we did do something on a reservation, we would invite the commission anyways.
Okay.
I think even on the Indian reservations, I think they sort of go along with the commission when it's approved,
Well, usually they have their own commission. The Indian does, but we invite them just so that they're part of it.
Right. Yeah, they have their Indigenous Nations boxing.
Right.
That's fight. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Mr. Shamrock, I got a friend here, Ed Rogers, wants to know if you're looking for a sponsor.
Sorry, say that again.
Are you looking for a sponsor? Any sponsors for the tryouts or a show?
Yes, we're always looking for sponsors, man. Anything that can actually help us. We're in the beginning stages of doing this. So yeah, sponsors, any of that stuff, man, you can get a hold of us through Valor Sports.
I'm going to give you my friend's information. He will help you out with that.
Yeah, it's at ted@valorbk.com.
Okay. Deron Adams wants to know if there's a super heavyweight class.
What was that?
Deron Adams wants to know if you got a super heavyweight class.
We have all the traditional boxing weights. So there is a heavyweight, super heavyweight also. We don't have anybody there yet. Like I said, we're just getting started, so we're finding more of the middleweights and light heavyweights. But yes, we will have all the traditional boxing weights. Just right now, we don't have that many big guys like that yet.
So you're gonna do the old traditional weight classes like welterweight, lightweight, middleweight, not junior middleweight, super middleweight. Just gonna have the basic
traditional, yeah. Starting out because again, when you're just starting out and you're building your program, and we're using a lot of young fighters because we want to be able to bring those fighters up with valor. So trying to fill all those weight classes in the beginning would just be too hard, and we would run out of fighters. So we want to try to keep the weight classes limited.
Exactly.
Yeah, I love bare knuckle fighting. I'm glad it's coming back, and I'm glad you put it on the show. I had David Feldman on a few times on the podcast, and I watched some of his shows. It's getting kind of like a little funny with the social media guys on there fighting. What do you think? What do you think about that, Mr. Shamrock? Social media guys fighting real fighters.
I think there's value there. I think you gotta be careful that you don't, load your card up with that. But I think that it's entertaining, no doubt. And so, yeah, it's great to have them maybe sometimes on the undercard, and depending on how big they are and how many views they get to be able to tune in, maybe their main event. Because, like I said, numbers count. And, that's how you put butts in the seat, is by people coming in and watching the fights. So there's a lot of power there. But at the same time, you still fight somebody.
Well, Jake and Logan Paul, boy, they sure knew how to sell, didn't they?
Well, they're also good fighters too. I mean,
they actually got skill. Yeah.
They're coming out. They're actually showing skill. They got some great. Obviously, they're not world class, but I give them time. Right? It's almost like people put them down because they've been boxing for a few years. They're like, well, they're not fighting the best in the world. Well, nobody is at that level. They're just getting started. So give them some time.
No,
I agree. Mr. Shamrock, would you ever fight again?
No, not. I mean, obviously, I'm a fighter, and if anybody ever got in my way or threatened my family or caught me in a bad mood, of course I fight. That's who I am. But I would never. I don't think I would get back in the actual ring and actually do a regular fight. I'm almost 60 years old in February, so I've had my time. I've enjoyed it. Now it's time for me to be able to give other young kids a chance to follow their dreams.
Ken, where are you living now? You still in California?
Reno, Nevada.
Oh, you're up in Reno. You're here in Nevada. Okay, cool.
Yes. Yep.
That's where Gina Carano's family is.
Yeah, well, they used to be. They're out of the casino business, I think, and I think they moved up into the hills.
Yeah, her father was a football star here in Nevada. He was Danny White's backup for the Cowboys too.
Well, he played for the.
Yeah, he played for Dallas. He was Glenn Carano. He was Danny White's backup at the Cowboys. I think his screen is frozen or something. Huh?
Yeah. Yep. Fire bad connection.
Maybe it's a mobile phone when you're driving.
You can hear you. Oh, there you go.
Oh, there you
What's up?
There you go.
Are we back?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
Will your show be on UFC Fight Pass by the chance?
I'm sorry, what?
which will your show be on UFC Fight Pass? Your bare knuckle promotion?
On Fight Pass.
Yeah.
I didn't bare knuckle.
Yes. Your show, your promotion. Or will your show be shown? Would it be shown on UFC Fight Pass?
No. No.
Oh, I thought the first one was on there.
No. We did that separate.
Oh, okay.
Now they may be showing those different things, their highlights or something, but it's not something that we did.
Okay. Let me see. So when you go in Buffalo, you gonna eat some chicken wings over here?
Yeah, no, we just had a little chicken fillet for dinner. So when you're on the road, you eat what you can.
Right. So you gonna have any female fighters, Mr. Shamrock, in your promotion?
Yeah, we've looked at a couple through some of the tryouts we've done, and there's some good ones that we've looked at. We're looking forward to using them. But again, like I said, on some of these shows that we're some of the shows that we're doing on in the beginning, we've seen a couple girls there, and we're looking forward to using them. But I don't think we're going to use them on the content shows.
Oh, okay. Now, how
Use
will
it
you
for the
judge
bigger events.
Now, how you gonna judge the fighters on the tryouts?
A little interference there.
We're probably driving out in the country somewhere. Let's see.
He probably got some bad reception somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah. So the tryouts is gonna be on Sunday at 1:00 at the Eastern Hill Mall.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna go over there and check it out. I know a few fighters that's gonna go for the tryouts. I got a guy who's a super heavyweight, so he asked a question. And Caveman got like 2 students going over there.
They did an event here in Las Vegas where they had a circular ring with the sides up, And
Yes.
who was involved? Was Boss Root involved in that, or somebody was involved in that?
I believe it was the original
What was the name of it?
Pit something. I want to say it was like the guy who brought the UFC. Not Bob.
No, it wasn't Bob Marowitz.
Oh, okay.
Wasn't Art Davy. I forgot who the hell it was. We did it. I believe we did it at the Rio. Um, One of the referees was a referee for my WKA shows back in Buffalo. I used to do with Angelo.
Oh, okay.
What the hell was the name of it? Oh no no what's his name was involved in it? Chuck Chuck Norris.
Oh, yes, yes.
Yeah. What was the name of it?
I forgot the name, but it was like a kickboxing show, right?
Yeah. But it was in a circle,
Right.
and the sides were sort of like this. They were like went up like this on the side. No ropes or nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember it. I just can't think of the name.
Yeah, I forgot the name of the damn event. Didn't last too long. A
I'm trying
long
to.
time. It was quite a
Yeah.
while.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Too bad. I wish you would have been here when this weekend. You could have been on. We could have went together to the tryouts.
I always miss your events by like a week.
Yeah.
It's either before or after I was there. No. Yes, sir.
Sorry, guys. We lost Ken Shamrock. Um, Signal probably. I'm guessing because he's driving.
Yeah.
He probably out in the country and somewhere and lost the signal. So, but at least he came on though.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I hope he does well with this event.
I hope so too, and I hope the guys I know that's gonna be there do good. Caveman's and Wegmans right now.
Good place to be. Is there any kind of knockdown rule or anything in Ken's event?
I'm not sure, but I'll probably go there Sunday, and I'll probably go Facebook Live, and I'll go there and talk to him and show the guys training or sparring, whatever. Yeah, my buddy Ed Rogers want to sponsor the event, so
Well, okay.
I get Ken his information to Ken.
Yeah.
Yeah, New York State, man, it's hard to put a show on in New York State
Oh yeah. Yeah.
with the insurance and
We used to get a 1 day insurance policy. It isn't that expensive at all. But I also when they had the ABC convention a few years back, they came up with a protocol for insurance for a pro event. You had to have a 1 night insurance policy that was equal to $50,000 worth of coverage per fighter on the event. But it was only like a couple of grand or something like that. It was cheap, and for amateurs, up to only up to $25,000 per fighter on the card, like we do here in Las Vegas. And it's not an expensive policy at all for the amateur shows. But if a kid blocks a kick, breaks his arm, goes to the ER, he gets up to $25,000 covered. It's covered.
yeah.
And we also, my shows back in Buffalo, I used to, I made a deal with Maine Transit Fire Hall. Their paramedics, I gave them, a few bucks to do the pre-fight checks on the fighters and be at ringside. And they were, what better guy to check out a fighter who got knocked down than a guy who does that works on trauma stuff and like head-on collisions. You know what I mean? So they're paramedics, they're ETMs, yeah. And they came there with a truck, and if a kid got hurt, they brought him to the hospital for us. And I gave them a whole bunch of tickets for all the firemen for the show. Yeah, that was a great deal. You know, they knew what they're doing. If a kid got hurt or something, or they could
Yeah.
look in their eyes and see if they're kind of fucked up. Yeah, they were the best.
Hey Charlie, what you think about I see this on Facebook a lot about the UFC fighters, how much they get paid compared to boxing.
Well, that's the top 20 boxers in the world get big money. Yeah, you can go. I got news for you. There are guys in the UFC, they make more money for knockout of the night, fight of the night, than most boxers on the undercard will ever make.
Right.
These kids on the undercard of a boxing show ain't getting a $50,000 bonus for knockout of the night. They're not even getting paid half of that to fight.
They make it seem like they're getting paid like Mayweather money.
No, they and the guys that make the big money like Mayweather, Canelo, and that, they sell pay-per-view.
Right.
And Spence and them that are going to fight now, they drive the pay-per-view numbers. And with the Latino fighters, the Hispanics always buy the most pay-per-view, always have. That's why their fighters get big money.
Yeah.
But you go to any boxing website, go to the Nevada Athletic Commission, and you can pull up a fight card, and it's public knowledge what their fighters are paid. Their contract agreement, pay-per-view money. That's not really public knowledge. Because that comes after a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. You start collecting the numbers, but to actually see what the fighters get paid to walk in that ring is all listed on the commissions. And probably New York too. Pull up a boxing card or something, you can see what the guys got paid.
Yeah, I just think people are just talking out their ass because they think every boxer get paid like Mayweather and Canelo.
No, fuck, they don't get paid anywhere near that, boxers. They ain't making that kind of money. Yeah, probably your top 5 in each weight division.
Right.
And some get the real big numbers. You know what? When Mayweather fought Maidana the first time, what a war that was. I was the inspector on the co-main event, I think. So after the main event, the girl for the commission, who has all the checks and everything, excuse me, she goes, Chucky, go pay the fighters. She gives me the clipboard, gives me the checks, and I look at it, and the fighter's got to sign his name, and next to his name shows all the deductions from the fighter. How many tickets, what 10-15% his manager, all that shit's taken out,
Yeah.
But then there's a handwritten check, because in Nevada, and any commission worth a damn, the money for the card is put in escrow with the commission. So the promoter can't say at the end of the fight, man, I can't pay you what I promised you. I didn't sell enough tickets. It's already in escrow with the commission. That was put in a long time ago to keep promoters from fucking fighters out of their money,
Yeah.
And so I look, I see Maidana's check. Mayweather's check was $32,500,000, a handwritten check. That was a guarantee. Not counting a pay-per-view. And Maidana's was like $6-7 million. He got an extra $1 million, so because Mayweather wanted to use certain kind of gloves that were made for him because his hands are so brittle.
Yeah.
So Maidana's corner said, "Yeah, okay, you can use them. But you're going to give us another $1 million cash." That's what they did.
Yeah.
So I go in the dressing. Now I got the clipboard like this with the checks, walking through the crowd back to the dressing room. That's all I needed, somebody to grab that clipboard. So I go in the dressing room. Floyd was like, "This was man. That was one tough man I fought tonight. God, he was tough. Man. He was really shot after that fight." So I give him the check. That sign right here, champ. It was, 32 million. Oh, that's cool. Signs it. Takes a picture of it on the phone, stuffs it in his pocket. $32 million handwritten check. Isn't that crazy?
Oh man, I wish I had $1 million for a fight.
Boy, but these these UFC fighters, they get big bonuses. Boxers don't get bonuses.
Right, right, right.
They're lucky if they get paid.
Yeah, it's just this myth going around that all boxers get paid a lot more than
You know why? Because they sold the event for $4 billion. It must be uh, you know they have all this money. What they don't remember, pay-per-view gets 30 plus 40% of the pay-per-view. The company that puts it up, like it
yeah,
used to be Viewer's Choice or whatever, ESPN Plus pay-per-view, all these other Showtime. They got a big chunk of the pay-per-view, and but it's all about how many asses you put in the seats and how many people you get to turn on the TV and pay
yeah,
for it. Yep. So these guys are all bitching and crying. Hey, if it wasn't for the UFC, we're going to go fight for another event. Good, go. But you're not going to make anywhere near the money. You're not going to get any endorsements. You're not going to get nothing. These guys make money out of the side, making appearances and shit.
yeah.
Um, uh, um, what was I going to say? Yeah, these guys, they do their after fight shows. They get paid a lot of money by the nightclubs just to go in there, get a couple bottles of vodka and hang out. They get 25, 30 grand. Yeah. Yep. But these UFC, they're all crying. If it wasn't for the UA, if you don't like it, quit and go back and be a fucking phys ed teacher in a high school for 40 grand a year. It's like, they're just sour grapes.
Yeah.
When you become a champion, you sell 1 million pay-per-views, pay-per-views, you can make that money. Look at Conor McGregor. He knew how to sell. He knew how to sell.
Yeah, he does. Yes.
After he won the title, yeah, but he's a pretty good guy personally.
Yeah,
It's
he
all
is.
about selling.
Yeah, he could definitely sell a fight.
There's Jake and Logan Paul. They're worth more than any of these fighters.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people give him shit, but like I said,
Well, look at their net worth. Google their net worth. It's crazy. They
right.
got a gym in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, yeah.
That's where they train. They're training with legit guys.
Yep. They training, and it's not like they just came off the street and talking shit. They've been training, and they put their work in the gym. They put in that work.
See the interview with Tyson talking about McGregor?
No.
He goes, here's a guy who never put on a boxing glove in his life, and he goes and fights Mayweather, the greatest fighter of this generation in the last 20 years, and he was landing punches on him, and he hung in there. He gave McGregor a lot of credit.
Did you see the Mayweather and Gotti fight? Gotti Jr.?
Yeah. Let me tell you. That was stupid.
I knew somebody from the Gotti camp. I was going to bring him on the podcast, but it didn't work out. But the guy had 2 fights, pro boxing fights.
People are pissed off with the ref stopped it.
Yeah, that's they say that's Mayweather's personal ref.
Oh, Kenny Bayless.
Yeah.
I always liked working with Kenny. Yeah, that was I don't think that was right. Oh.
Well, he stopped the fight because they was talking trash to each other,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. So what?
He was saying it's an exhibition, but Yeah, it's an exhibition, but you charging people for pay-per-views and
People paying to watch that. Yeah,
yeah,
that wasn't right for Kenny to do that. There's been a lot of shit going on with Nevada refs and judges lately in the last couple of years. You know, but referees, I always thought were good referees, judges, and prematurely stopping fights or whatever. It just, I don't know. If that Lomachenko Haney fight was in New York City, Loma would have won that decision. I really believe that. I thought he won this one. Or at worst, it could have been a draw.
right.
But Dave Moretti scored it way lopsided. I was like, God damn, what was he watching? And he's one of the best referees ever. He's from Niagara Falls,
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Now a lot of these judges they don't have like a background in boxing or MMA.
No, they all got day jobs.
Yeah.
uh, uh, uh,
You think they should hire like ex
Joe
fighters, right?
Cortez. Joe Cortez, he boxed years ago.
Yep. Oh yeah.
These guys all came up through the amateur ranks. You got to start with the amateur boxing, USA boxing, work your way up into the pros. Got to learn the ropes, Just like MMA refs, they all started. Mark Smith, I got him on the commission as a judge. And then, they asked me, who do you think we should move up? I said, Mark Smith would be a good referee. Because I met Mark at the amateur Muay Thai shows here. And, yeah. And they used to ask me, because I was the amateur MMA and kickboxing guru here. I used to, be chief inspector for all those shows. Mark Ratner or Keith Kaiser would always ask me, who do you think's good enough in the amateurs to move up now? And I'd say, I like this guy, But, but the problem is, if you hire, people say, they should hire jujitsu black belts to judge the UFC. Well, that'd be the worst fucking thing to do because they're going to be partial to a guy who just grapples.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's like, and if you have just a guy who was a kickboxer, he's going to be partial to the guy that just stands up.
Right.
When you're a referee, with judges though, most of these judges were boxing judges and they got tenure and they used to do the kickboxing, the K1 judging and stuff. Oh, they don't want to lose that $2,000-3,000 paycheck working a pro show,
Yeah.
They had to take a crash course in MMA, Yeah.
Now when in the earlier UFC, you was there where there was no rules, right? And then
Yeah.
I want to
No eye gouging and no biting.
Okay. And then I want to say it was either UFC 4 or 5, I guess, when they started adding like time limits and then judging scoring. Was you there for that, or
I was there.
Did you have any did you have any sayings for the new rules or?
No. I was just booking fighters at the time. But those rules, that weight classes stuff were put in. God, I think after UFC, I don't know, it was a 5 or something, or maybe
Right.
7. I know there were no rules in 7, no weight classes, but then they started to do the 2 weight classes. That's when Frank Shamrock started to come in, and that weight division. They said they needed something under 200 pounds. And but because they had the David Goliath tournament in Puerto Rico, remember that, the little guys against the big guys.
Yeah.
That's what my guy Joel Sutton bruised his sternum training, and he couldn't fight. So they needed a last minute replacement. They got Don Fry, and that was the rest is history.
Yeah, Don Fry. I remember him. I remember Gary Goodrich. He fought that one guy and
elbowed him. My friend Paul Herrera got him in like a crucifix and elbowed him in the temple and knocked him out.
Oh man, that was crazy.
Brutal. That was brutal.
Did he ever fight again?
Huh?
Did he ever fight again?
Who, Paul Herrera?
Yeah.
I don't know if he did or not. I'm not sure. He was part of Tito Ortiz's entourage. He was the Huntington Beach Bad Boys, that crew. Tank Abbott and all them,
Yeah.
that was their team. Yeah. He puts on amateur shows. He was an amateur and collegiate champion in California, Paul Herrera. He's a great high school, college wrestler. Yeah.
I think I'm friends with him on Facebook too. I gotta check for him.
Good guy. Good guy. We became real good friends. Yeah. The old days. But then they started adding rules. I think UFC 12 or 13, 14, I
Okay,
don't
yeah.
know. That's when they added the gloves.
Right.
And they came up with a grappling glove. Because they were still using gloves like that, the ones that were sort of like padded just on the front. They used to use
Right.
them in Japan in Shudo and that. You could still grab with them, but they were like a solid cover.
Yeah.
But um, yeah, and then a big controversy was, and they were trying to sell the bare knuckle thing to the officials in Puerto Rico, and John McCarthy had to go there and meet with them with Art Dave, with the UFC before the fight, and they said, "Oh, you got to wear gloves." And John McCarthy did a demo. He goes, "You could hit harder with one of these gloves than you can with a bare fist." "Oh, no, you can't. No, you can't." So John McCarthy had the guy put on a glove, punch the table. He goes, "Yeah, I didn't feel nothing." "Okay. Now take off the glove and smack the table." "Oh, no, I don't want to do that. I'll break my knuckles." He goes, "See?" Yeah, that's how he proved it. But New York State, they're tough with everything.
Yeah. They want that money.
I remember moving that show in the middle of the fucking night down to Dothan, Alabama in the
Wait.
snow.
Oh, that was the Niagara Falls, right? They were supposed to do a show in Niagara Falls. I remember that.
I was there. I flew in from Vegas. I had a fighter on the show, Nick Sanzo, who won his first alternate fight. But yeah, that was uh, what happened was John Peretti was going to wanted to do a show in New York, in Queens, I think it was, in an armory or something. And the politicians down there said, that that can you do it like out on Long Island somewhere? Don't do it close to the city. And because back then the commissions had no rules, they left it up to the municipalities and each city to approve it. That's why the one UFC, I'm looking at the poster now, UFC 7 got approved. All my friends on the city council voted to approve it. And so Peretti goes, "Well, you don't have any rules. You can't tell me I can't do it. I'm going to do the show." They had in the middle of the night legislation meeting and banned MMA. Thanks to John Peretti, the jackass.
Yeah.
And chartered 2 planes to fly in the middle of the night. Took off in a snowstorm from Niagara Falls to Birmingham, Alabama. They had buses waiting for us. We always had a redneck promoter down south,
Yeah.
just in case.
Yeah.
And then we had like a 3-hour bus ride to Dothan, Alabama. We had empty seats on the airplane, so we had a plane bigger than we needed. So we told the people, UFC told them, they came from all over the world for that show. The Fed said it was sold out. I think it was in February, snowing like crazy. He said, anybody who could come to Niagara Falls Airport, first come, first serve, will come down to Dothan, Alabama with us. You have people out in the snow with money waving people down in front of the fucking hotel in Niagara Falls next to the convention center. They probably thought, what are these nutcases doing in the street waving people over, And so we took a bunch of fans with us, and they told us, after, don't go anywhere because we're going to have the buses take us to the airport, but we're going to fly out of Dothan, Alabama. We don't have to go to Birmingham. The only problem was the plane we got to go home was smaller than the one we went down. So we thanked them for coming to the event, but unfortunately, you have to find your own way back to Niagara Falls because we don't have enough seats on this airplane. Yeah. Poor guys. I wonder how they got back. And that plane was really heavy. and it was a small military base, and it was a 727. We had a 757 on the way down. On the way back, it was a Champion Air 727, smaller airplane. But it was raining, and raining. And we're taking off. I could hear the captain throttling up. He's got his foot on the brakes. Then let's go the brakes. Boom. Starts going down the runway. And I'm looking out the window. Of course, I work for an airline, so I know a little bit what's going on. I said, okay, 5,000 foot marker, 4,000 foot marker, 3,000, 2,000. I'm like, oh, fuck. Just as we hit the 1,000 foot marker, the nose went up and we took off. We barely made it off the end of the runway. Yeah, I was looking out the window like, God damn. Yeah, that was an adventure.
Oh yeah. Wow, that was crazy how that happened. I
Oh,
remember.
and that legislator a few years back got arrested. He got busted and convicted for some kind of fraud or something. So good, karma came back to get him.
I remember back in the day, the pay-per-views was like $19, I believe.
Yeah, yeah, 1995,
Yeah.
29.95. That's when everybody had cheater boxes too. So they figured if 50,000 people bought the pay-per-view, probably another 50,000 saw it for free on a cheater box. You know? Yeah, until they went all digital. Yeah. But the pay-per-view world was much smaller then. Back then, what, a couple million people had the ability to get pay-per-view. And compared to now, you got millions and millions and millions of tens of millions can get pay-per-view now. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember the cheater box back in the day.
Oh yeah. And every 6 months they got scrambled, so you had to find a guy that was selling them to get another one.
Yeah, I remember when we used to live in Brooklyn. We had a guy who had them, and then we moved to Buffalo, and then we got somebody. We knew somebody from the West Side, and he got us a box. And yeah, it was.
Oh, my friend used to have a trunk full of them. Yeah. So are you from Brooklyn or Queen? You're from Brooklyn?
Yes.
Oh, you're Brooklyn. I knew a mobile DJ. He had a company, Burt Lockett, and the Brooklyn Mobile DJs back in the 70s. He was a big mobile DJ guy, Burt Lockett. Yeah.
You should.
Yeah.
Did you ever go party in Brooklyn?
I never did. That's where Bath Avenue is, isn't it?
Yes. It's on. I believe in. What's the neighborhood? It's an Italian neighborhood, matter of fact.
Yeah, yeah. You see a lot of old mob documentaries and stuff.
Yeah, a lot of them out there for sure.
Yeah, the Bath Avenue crew. That back in the 60s, 70s. Yeah, bodies used to drop all over the place there. Oh yeah.
I remember the growing up in Brooklyn in the 80s. I was a little kid, but I remember it was real. It's like the Wild Wild West back then.
Good
And
friend of
Giuliani actually cleaned up New York City big time.
mine. He really did. He really
Yeah.
did. He was the best mayor they ever had.
Yeah, he wasn't playing no games. He locked anybody up.
And my friend, when he became a New York fireman, he went to UB. Craig Silvino. He used to run Wilkinson Pub at UB too. When he was a lieutenant, he finally retired as captain a few years back. When he was a lieutenant, what was his first station? Well, since you're a new hire, you're going to Brownsville, Brooklyn.
I used to live in Brownsville.
He goes, Charlie, they burn something down there every day. They burn their own shit down.
Yeah.
they get an argument and burn their own stuff down. Yeah. Remember the days.
Oh yeah. Now in Buffalo, you grew up in Williamsville, right?
Yeah, I grew up in Waynesville. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. But I hung around the city a lot. You know. with the frat gangs and stuff. You know, I was
Yeah.
president of for a couple of years. My frat, yeah, yeah, the thug days, 1970, 71. Yeah,
I remember my father. He uh worked in this bodega store in Brooklyn, and like when he catch somebody stealing, he was like, "We're not gonna call the cops. I'm gonna take care of you." You take him in the back in the office and beat the shit out of them.
that's it.
And then I remember one time I heard the story that somebody stole something and they took off running out the store. My father chasing them, and then like the people see my father chasing this guy, so they go after the guy. They grab him, throw him on the floor, and then my father just soccer kicked him in the head,
That's
fucked
how
him
you
up.
did it. Too bad they
Yeah,
don't
I mean, like
too
I
bad they don't-
remember growing up, like we never used to call the cops. We took care of business ourselves.
No.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yes, sir. Too bad they don't do that now.
no, they don't.
People just walking out of stores with shit. And like, it's like, oh, I like AOC. She goes, oh, they're stealing because people need to feed their families. They're walking out with big screen TVs and stuff. He goes, you're gonna eat one. You're gonna eat a TV or what? And when they just fill their shit up and walk out. Oh, unbelievable! This
Yeah,
country.
like I see, like when you see some of the store workers attack them, and then you got the news. Oh, they got no reason to attack them. They just stealing. They should just, it's not their stuff. They should just let them walk away with it.
Man,
Fuck that. Insurance is expensive. Fuck that.
that's what the liberal laws, no bail, the bail reform and everything. It's like, yeah, that's I hope Trump gets in, gets his Biden out of here. He could never make another 4 years. Christ, the guy can barely talk now.
Yeah,
I'm
he
glad.
got.
I'm glad I'm at my age. I'll be dead when everything goes to shit. You
Damn.
young people are going to have to carry on the next 30 years. 20 years from now, you'll say, that fucking Charlie was right.
I'm gonna be working 3 jobs and shit.
No, I'm telling you, if there's 3 jobs to work,
Yeah.
uh, what are you going to do? Well, I'm looking out the window. Oh, it's still sunny out here. It doesn't get dark till like after 8 o'clock here now. Days are real long here in the desert.
I definitely got to take a trip to Vegas. I know a few people out there. Would like to go out there. I never been out there before, so
Yeah, find a cheap flight. Frontier flies nonstop. Southwest is going to have nonstop every day starting in September, October, I think. Yeah, without a connection, man, you're here in like 4 hours.
yeah.
Kick back, take a nap, wake up, you're in Las Vegas. A lot of gyms here, of course, we can hit and see the people and nightlife, of course. Yep.
I know a lot of Italians there from Brooklyn,
A ton
from
of
Vegas.
people.
Yeah.
When a lot of Buffalo people too. Buffalo people flocked out here in the 70s, late 60s, 70s, early 80s. And New York people too. But like when the Golden Knights hockey team plays here, when the Rangers play, boy, there's a lot of Ranger fans here.
Oh wow.
People that live here,
Yeah.
plus people that come out here. And the Buffalo Sabres, they come out here. There's probably 3,000 Sabre fans in the stands. Yeah. Yep. Well, I'm gonna hit the road here.
All right, buddy.
About. But yeah, I'll call you next week when I get back.
All right.
Yep. Well, we'll find a space in my itinerary. I like Saturday day, Saturday night, Saturday afternoon, Sunday,
We
Monday. I got a breakfast Monday morning, Monday afternoon. All the time.
All right. Yeah. Me and Caveman would treat you to eat.
No, we'll figure it out. All righty.
All righty then, buddy.
Okay. Say hello to everybody for me.
All right.
Adios.
Adios, amigos.
Okay.
All right, everybody, we are out.